Hi there, it's Furman with DIY Pioneer Guy. Glad you could join me. So today we're going to be going over how to make some kitchen utensils, kitchen spatula, kitchen stirrers, kitchen whatnot. These two I've made some time ago. I like them, we use them a lot actually. They're kind of small, lengthy, nice to be able to work around. But I want to make them a little bit wider. I like this one perfectly, but I'm going to make it a little bit wider. That was loud. More like this one. This one actually was given to us by friends. And I'm going to be making something similar to this with a little bit more width to it. And for today I will be using this half log that I've let dry out for a while. Really excited to share it with you guys, and I'll show you how we progress. Stay tuned. Okay, so one of the first things we need to consider is what we're working with and how we're going to use it. So my initial instinct was to go with this end. I can see I have some cracks here. This is old, and these cracks probably, although it doesn't show them going very deep, I do see them, so I need to be aware of that because that might actually impact my entire project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some really light, quick work out of this. I'll be using this as my wide end, and it'll taper down. One of the reasons why I'm doing that is because you can see it has a twist to it. I don't mind a twist on the handle, that's fine, but I don't want a twist in the segment that'll be my my main section. So I'm going to really quick probably cut off, I'll show you guys as I do this, that section of it, and for right now I'll just taper down. I'll show you one sec. Again, these are broad strokes, it's not perfect. This is just going to show you more or less what my plans are. This is going to be the big section, hopefully you can see that. Cut that off, and as I'm going to make some really quick, again, that was loud, some really quick work out of it, I'm going to be using my axe to kind of hone some of this down, taper it down, and I'll be able to give you guys a quick idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, I know earlier I said axe. It's actually a little hatchet. So I actually like to work with this one in my hand quite a bit. So what I do is, obviously it's pointing away from my body, and I actually will just, and I have something to hold it down in place. Hopefully this won't shake it up too much. The other thing is I actually do keep this quite sharp. You can see it's just tapering off. I hadn't considered how this is going to move the table at which I'm working at. But as you can see, or hopefully you can see, I'll show you momentarily how quickly this is actually getting that angle that I want. Hopefully you can see it's going into that angle, giving me that turn that I want. And then what I do is, once I have these segments, then I put the hatchet in there. Hopefully further here you can see it a little better. And that allows me to quickly strip it down and take this piece off. So again, the same principle would apply from this one, always away from the body, not towards you. So here we go, we just kind of would be doing like that. You get the idea. And that would allow me to quickly lift up a lot of work. So I'll actually be adjusting how I'm doing this because I really can't do it well when I'm trying to illustrate it for you guys in this way. So I have to modify my camera angle so you can see it a little better, but you get the idea. Okay, I'm really hoping with this you guys are able to see it a little bit better. Modified my angle a little, and so this way, if I do some work down here, this won't affect you guys as much because it's down low enough where I hopefully am not shaking the camera. But my point was that I was trying to get at, you guys can see how much material this quickly removes. A lot of different ways of doing the same thing and going about it, but I'm just hopefully giving you guys an idea as to what I'm dealing with here and how it's going. Obviously, you know, you're doing your work, so you got to kind of pay attention to where you are and how close you are. And if you're doing it inside like I currently am, I usually do all my projects out in the garage, but today I'm doing it in here for multiple reasons, including the recording component of it, as well as it's a little warmer. but you guys get the idea. When you get down close to the edge in the bottom, you're just a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more controlled. What I was trying to illustrate earlier is how much you can actually cut into this segment and get in that angle you want. So from here, I know, and then once I get that, I usually have enough going here. So a couple things to point out. Obviously keep your axe sharp. It's actually less dangerous if it's sharp, because that way you respect it more. And just mind the direction that the axe is traveling. I won't be putting my hand in front of it if I'm going this way, because there's a risk. I won't be putting my leg right out here. There's also a risk. So you just kind of be mindful of those things. Just be aware of it. But I think sometimes working with a hatchet like this allows you to do real quick work, really fast, and it's nice, and it's a lot of this work is how our ancestors used to do it. You know, they had a nice hatchet that they used for all sorts of stuff, but making a basic utensils, I think, was also one of them. Okay, earlier some of the work I did, I went and looked at the video, and I realized a lot of that's not very visible to you guys. So I'm just going to kind of continue on some of the same work so you can see what's going on here. One of the things that I was pointing out is the fact that this allows you to get that angle. So we're going to get that angle going in there. And then the other thing is, once you have it, you can easily remove a lot more material. It's simple and it's fast, just like that. So same principles still apply, even though you may not have been able to see what I was talking about earlier. Same principles apply as far as safety. Obviously, safety first and foremost. Don't have basically the other end, the business end, the working end of the axe, where it's going to be cutting. Don't have anything in the way there. And I'm just going to kind of real quick go through this, slap some more of this out, get this finalized and done, and that way I'll come back and show you guys how it's progressed as far as putting the angle for that handle here. And momentarily too, I'm going to be taking a closer look at this edge, at this end. For this one, instead of using my hatchet, I'm actually going to go use a saw real quick, and I'm just going to cut it down so that way I get a better idea of the cracks we're looking at, how far they extend, and if that can be salvaged or not. So obviously you don't want to do all the work with the handle, only to find out that this end isn't going to work for you. So I'm going to go cut that off, and I'll show you guys in a sec. Alright, as you can see here, we're just going to really quick go to this and just kind of make sure. So whenever we're using a little saw like this, what I like to do is I position the saw where it's going to leave my initial mark. Mind you, it only cuts in one direction, guys. That's something, it'll leave a mark, but the real cut is actually happening on this one when I thrust forward. But I line it up perfectly with my line. I put my thumb on the up, not on the downward where it's going to cut me, but on the actual metal itself, not the cutting, not the teeth, but up on the, I'm not sure what the top of it is called. But I line it up here, I make sure that I have a good line. And then with this, I'm just making my initial line. So that way it's marking it, so I'll know where I'm going to be making it. So again, I'm drawing back, so this actually is not cutting, it's actually giving me my initial mark, if you will. So now that I have my initial mark, I know the direction I'm going. And mind you, be careful when you do this so that way you don't get a splinter. But we got a good start going, we got it in place, we're lined up, and from this point now I can slowly, gently start cutting, and as you'll see, it shouldn't go too bad. Alright, so I'm really happy to share. You see that initial crack that we were dealing with? At that end of it ends, we have a new little crack here, but since we're going to be just using this beginning half of it, it won't affect us, as you can see. We're looking good. That crack does go away. It's actually right there, it's just the crease of it. It doesn't crack all the way through. And since we're going to be dealing with this top half, we're in good standing. Alright, so now that we've been able to confirm that the edge is good and that the shape is going to be good, and with the warp and twist, I'm actually going to go to town on this, you guys. I'm actually going to be doing quite a bit of work. Not all of this will be on camera, just because it would take me a lot longer than I wanted to you get the idea of what I'm going to do here. So for this section, goodness, that's so loud on the camera. But I'm just going to be thinning a lot of this out and down. So maybe some of this you can see here. That's too loud. Anyway, I'm going to probably take it to the garage, and you guys get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of removing a lot of this material rather quickly. Some of it will be aggressively, but I'll be doing that in the garage. Okay, I want to show you some of the progress and where we are so far. Everything's been done with a hatchet still. I actually went ahead and put the hatchet towards the back, and with another, I forget the term. There's a term, and I'll look it up. If you guys remember, go ahead and add it on the comments here. But it's where you put the hatchet on top, and you hit the top of the hatchet with a, it's like with another stick. So that's what I did. I kind of, after the initial cut, I just kind of followed it through. It was splitting as it went, and I was just following it through. As you can see, made a significant dent in our work. And so now at this point, I'll be shaping up the handle and adjusting the top. You guys are current progress in where we are. As you can see here, I'm starting to round out the handle a little bit. Still needs a lot of work, but you're getting the idea again. This is all just using our hatchet. So there we go. I'll keep doing it, show you some more. Alright, we've done a good amount of work with the hatchet. I'm actually not going to be doing too much more work towards the handle other than rounding it out. I just don't want to get it too thin on me. So I'm going to keep the handle right about there. But at this point, I'm actually going to be transitioning to a sharp knife that I keep, so it'll allow me a little bit better of an angle to work on this. Use different techniques to ensure that I'm getting kind of the angle I want here. You guys can see here. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to mention is when I was using the hatchet, and the same principle applies with this, now that I'm using the knife, this angle, this cut, I don't just exclusively approach it from one side. What I mean by that is, see how I'm coming at it from this side? Now before I dig down way deep and go into the grain of the wood, which will cause me to have to go all the way, I switch it up and I match it up so that way it meets the other side right there. So as I do this and I lift it up, as you can see here, I'm finding that same piece and making it smooth. So that way I'm not going in. Hopefully that makes sense. So just wherever I have these at these angles, I come a little bit this way and a little bit that way and match it up. Alright, we've done a little bit of work with the pocket knife. You can see it's kind of coming together a little better. For the next segment, what I'm actually going to be doing is this broad head, shovel head area type. As you can see here, it's not flat, there's ridges. I'm actually going to be probably using a rasp. I'm going to secure this and run a rasp all the way across. Something longer than this. It has to be longer, or if I could use a planer and run it across. Basically anything that's going to allow me a long enough segment that I can go all the way across and make this so it matches up perfectly, because you can see, because of the twist and the warp in there, a little bit of twist, I need to make sure that it's all evened out. Now I guess you could use this as is, but it's nowhere near pretty enough where we're going to want it looking, especially in our kitchen. So I'll show you. Let me show you guys what I mean. So as you can see here, I've secured it onto a surface, and here's my rasp. You can see there's some high points and there's some low points. So here's some high points, here's the low points. High, high. So as I run the rasp across, as long as I'm leaving it flat and even, there you go, it's flat all the way across, it'll actually be taking off the high points until it reaches my low points. And then it'll all be one same height. Hopefully that makes sense. As you can see, I'm removing material as we speak, and I'll just keep doing this until we got into the point, until we've reached the point at which it's all the same height. Alright, we've smoothed it all out so it's all the same on one side. Now we're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side with the rasp. Alright, so another issue that I'm running across here, as you can see, did have a little hole there. It's actually not a hole, it's part of, I think, where a branch is going to be coming off. And that little bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work my rasp, and I'm actually going to angle it in a little to get rid of that. And I'm actually going to angle this side out to get rid of both of those sides. So what I mean is it'll actually go taper down this way, and down towards the front, and I'll do the same on the other side. We got plenty of thickness, so that's not a problem. So ultimately, I ended up cutting off the tip. I kept going down, and at the point it was like, all right, I want to get rid of that. I don't want it to be at the end. Now, this guy here, I can deal with. It'll be fine because I'll be using the front end of it anyway as for stirring. But anyway, it's smoothed out all the way around now. I'm going to continue hand sanding now and give it a nice shape and finalize it. I'm also going to go down deep here in these little grooves because I can't have little grooves where things can, whoops, get my hand out of the way so it'll focus on it. I can't have little grooves there because the little grooves will ultimately lead to bacterial growth and other issues. All right, well, here we have it, guys. There's our little kitchen spatula ready to use. And off we go. Last little portion of this, I got a little bit of stuff to remove there. That's just at the very end, I actually did end up using my my belt sander. Hey, Beagle the dog. Spot the Beagle. Come on, go. The very last portion of it, I did, there we go. Okay, let's move. Okay, the very last portion of it, I did end up using the belt sander just to make life a little bit easier. But as you can see here, we got a finalized product that we can easily use in our kitchen and get good use out of. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And stay tuned. I think next I'm going to go back to well, it'll be a surprise. You'll see soon. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this portion of DIY Pioneer Guy. You know, one thing that I failed to mention is that with any wood that we work, it's hygroscopic, so it's always going to be absorbing water, right? And so in order to protect it and to prevent the wood from cracking and eventually causing problems, is we do need to sand it, or sorry, after we sand it, we do need to put oil on it to kind of seal it and protect it a little bit. So I usually use, there's a lot of different oils you can use. Mineral oil, not in excess because that'll upset your tummy, but that's really safe for food products. I actually cook with it a lot, so as long as I'm using my oils and then afterwards I just kind of do a rub down on it, it's good. But keep in mind, with these products and this material, same as you would with any other wood product, if you're putting it in the dishwasher, the hot water, it's going to make the pores open up, absorb water, and then over time it could actually cause it to crack and break. So with all our wood and our wood products that we have like this, we oil it up over time and just kind of oil it up. If you're using some butter, I just spread some butter, some olive oil. We use olive oil a lot, coconut oil, whatnot. Really enjoyed today's DIY Pioneer Guy, and I look forward to sharing some more with you soon. Take care.